On Beach one day. Let's go. Well, Jumbo everybody, my name is RJ and I'm your Safari Guide. And I do have a couple of reminders for you before we can go here onto the reserve. First, I do need everyone to remain fully seated at all times. Children are more than welcome to sit up on their lap. Just please don't hold them up like Rafiki and Simba. It's going to be a very bumpy trip out here, so hold on to any of those loose articles like your hats, glasses, or cameras. If anything falls out on the truck, I'm not going to be able to stop and go pick it up. So keep all those hands, arms, feet, and legs on the truck at all times too. This first area we are going to visit on our journey is going to be called the Little Forest. All of the animals live here in the forest are very shy. They hide away from those things using their fur as camouflage to blend into their surroundings. There's an animal already over on the right side up on that hill, just in front of that stone. That is an okapi over there. They do have those white stripes on their legs, but the okapi is the closest living relative to the giraffe. Some adaptations I share with the giraffe are their very long tongues, which are long enough to reach their ears, and the ossicones on their head, which are those horns that they have. Okapis were not known to the Western world until about 1901, so they are very good at hiding. They were once thought to be a mythical creature. To the right side of that okapi, right in the middle of that hill, there is a yellowback tiger. They are the largest type of tiger buck, and the word tiger buck in Afrikaans names diving buck because when they get scared, they emit a very high-pitched squeal and jump into the nearest bush. There's a black rhino coming up on the left side just across the water. Or there's two of them. It's pretty rare to see two black rhinos in the same area because they are very, very solitary. They are one of the smaller types of rhino, weighing only about 3,000 pounds fully grown. They have a pretty cool upper lip. Their upper lip goes out to a point and it's prehensile, so if they grab onto their food, kind of acts like a little finger. Kind of see it in action over there. But unfortunately, rhinos are poached for those horns that they have. Their horns are made out of keratin. That's the same thing our fingernails and hair are made out of. And because of all the poaching, there's less than 5,000 black rhinos left in the world. If you guys are taking pictures out here, I do suggest setting your camera to a high-speed sports or action mode if you have it, because I'm not going to be able to stop that much, but I am trying my best to slow down when we do see some animals, so keep those cameras ready, because you never know when one is going to decide to show up. So I think we're going to go ahead and start making our way up this hill. It's going to take us off over to the next area. That's going to be the Safi River Valley. We will see if anything is living out by the water. Let's keep a good look out for some bubbles or ripples out here. That's a very good sign something is getting ready to pop up to say hello. Just on the other side of the island on the right side, there's a couple of hippos over there. So everybody has a chance to see. Hippos will spend about 20 hours a day in the water protecting their skin from the sun. They can sunburn very easily, so you can usually see them on land at nighttime. That's when they go out to eat. Hippos can eat up to about 150 pounds of vegetation a day, and they can walk up to 7 miles trying to find all of that food. Looks like there's a couple more on the left side behind that island, so we've definitely found a whole load of them out here. Hippos are so large they sometimes have trouble swimming, so most of the time you'll find them walking along the bottom of the river. They are able to hold their breath for about 8 minutes underwater, so you sometimes never know if a hippo's around.
Do you see the bubbles coming from the one over
On the island are going to be pink-backed pelicans. They don't really look pink right now, but they definitely get a nice pink back during mating season. There can be anywhere from 20 to 200 nesting pairs in that same area. They are one of the only pelicans that will nest up in trees. They're also one of the smaller types with only an 8-foot wingspan. But all pelicans will use those flabs and skin under their beaks as a net to catch their food. Since they catch those fish, they filter out the water and swallow those fish whole right then and there. Ooh, up on the left side, there's going to be a whole bunch of Nile crocodile. They are the largest species of crocodile out here in Africa. They can grow to be about 16 feet long, sometimes all the way up to 20 feet. That is as long as a giraffe is tall. Crocodiles are ectothermic, which means they have trouble controlling their own body temperature. So if they get too warm, they will open up their mouths to let out that extra heat. But they usually just sit there waiting until their dinner comes to them. Crocodiles have about 2,000 pounds of pressure per square inch in their bite, so they can easily bring both of their prey in just one single chomp. Let's go ahead on out of here. Start making our way out towards our next ecosystem. That's going to be the serengeti grasslands up ahead. That's also known as the savanna, and that is home to some of Africa's most favorite and popular animals, like giraffes and elephants, zebras and cheetahs and lions, maybe some more rhinos. So we'll try to find some of them out here. Does does look like we are starting to get a little bit closer with the changing greenery, especially with this major change coming up just on the right side. Now that is a baobab tree. They're also known as the upside down tree since they remain leafless for about 9 months out of the year. So they're going to hold all of the water and nutrients needed to survive in that very large trunk. Most baobab trees live to be around 2,000 years old, but I have been told by some of the locals out here that that tree is about 500. And this coming up is my view of the research, as you can just see go on for miles out here. You can also get a nice little sneak preview of some of the animals we will see. So there's a couple of different animals at the bottom of the hill here. So coming up directly next to the truck, there's going to be Ankole cattle, and right behind those cows, there's some white-bearded wildebeest. Wildebeest are the largest migratory animal. About 2 million of them migrate every year, anywhere from 500 to 8,000 miles. Typical herds of wildebeest usually consist of about 20 of them, but once they start migrating, those herds grow to be around 1,000. And that's usually when they give birth, so that large number will help protect all those little ones. The Ankole cattle's horns will grow to be about 4 to 5 feet long. So those horns are hollow inside. It's kind of a honeycomb shape in there. That allows those cows to circulate blood through those horns, helps them cool off if they get too warm. The Ankole cattle are the only domesticated animal here on the reserve, so they're also known as the Watusi cattle, named after the tribe who domesticated them. Most people use them as a sign of wealth, so the more cows your family owned, the richer you were. Each of those horns will weigh about 15 pounds, which is pretty light for their size. Walking around on the left side, looks like there's a couple of African wild dogs out there, a whole pack of them. They're also known as the painted dog. They get that name from the spots they have. But the wild African dog is one of the best hunters out here. They're a lot better at hunting than any of the large cats, since they will hunt their packs, which range from about 5 to 20 dogs. So they actually have about a 90% success rate hunting. They don't really bark, they kind of end up squeaking and chirping at each other, so they sound like squeaky toys all the time, sometimes like little puppies. Just very vicious little puppies. So as we continue along here, we're going to be passing by a couple of pretty large mounds. These are termite mounds, only made out of spit and dirt and dung. But once they bake in the sun, they will be hard as concrete. So a lot of giraffes and elephants will use them as scratching posts, and some antelope pop up on top to keep a lookout for predators that might be nearby. These mounds are pretty plain on the outside, but inside there's a very intricate tunnel system running through them. So those bugs will walk around all day, keep building them taller and taller. Most mounds are about 6 feet tall, but in a more tropical savanna area like this one, they can build them all the way up to be around 30 feet. So I guess some perspective, a full-grown giraffe is about 20 feet tall, so it's like a full giraffe and a half. Get another view of those Ankole cattle coming up ahead. As well as those wildebeest out there. Wildebeest are also known as the gnu, spelled G-N-U, and they get that name from the sounds they make. Once a baby wildebeest is born, it's actually able to start walking within 15 minutes. That way they can keep up with that migrating herd. So straight ahead, it looks like they're going to end up on the left side of the truck. Those are East African crowned cranes. They stand around 4 feet tall. They're able to jump about 6 feet without using their wings too, which is pretty cool. And they do a very, very pretty dance trying to impress each other. Once you get a little bit closer, you're going to be able to see that they have white circles around their eyes. Those circles remain white most of the time, but whenever they get excited, those circles will turn pink. So it kind of looks like they're blushing. It looks like an animal is stopping one of the trucks up ahead, so we should be moving on here in a moment, hopefully. But we do have one of those birds blocking our way also, so can't really move up much.
It's like we have to wait for the geese at home.
So we should be moving on up here in a moment. Looks like we have a little bit of help.
I'm just gonna stay down the side.
We'll see with this guy. I think this guy should be staying on the grass. Maybe we'll see. No.
Wait, we gotta go with our friends. Wow. It's like they hop.
Here we go. So the landscape out here is heavily influenced by these animals. Elephants will bulldoze down trees, uprooting them, turning over the dirt that allows more grass to grow, and they will end up eating the bark off those trees. Giraffes print down to brush off the trees, eating those leaves, allowing more light inside. These birds act like a natural insecticide, eating up all the bugs around. And all of the grazers, like the wildebeest, antelope, and the cows, make sure that the grasses don't get too tall, so they mow them on down. Now coming up on the right side up on the mound, there's going to be a tower of giraffes, and there's a couple on the left side. Looks like all these giraffes out here are Maasai. You can tell by those very jagged and irregular spots that they have. And there's a couple little baby giraffes on the right side. So a full-grown giraffe is about 20 feet tall. 6 of those feet are going to be their necks. 6 feet are their legs. So these baby giraffes do have to be born at 6 feet tall just to reach the mother's belly. But these giraffes do give birth while standing, so that does mean that those little babies do have a 6-foot drop when they're born. Giraffes have really cool tongues too. Their tongues are about 18 inches long, and it's prehensile, so it's wrap it around the branches to pull off all of those legs. It's also a very dark purple, almost black color. That prevents your tongue from getting sunburned, since giraffes will eat for about 20 hours a day. And since giraffes eat for so long, it doesn't really leave them much time to sleep. They end up sleeping about 30 minutes each day. They don't sleep all 30 minutes at once, they just take a lot of short naps, usually while standing. There is an elephant coming up on the right side, but on the left side there's going to be some mandrills walking around. Mandrills are the largest type of monkey out here in Africa, usually pretty shy, reclusive animals, so we're definitely lucky to see them out here today. Actually, to the left of that big bush, that is the alpha male of the mandrill troop. You can tell by his very colorful face that he has, and you also see his very colorful butt. So that he is the one in charge, whichever way he is facing.
Elephant right over here.
Mandrills are one of the only monkeys that will use facial expressions with each other. So to show friendship, they actually bare their teeth just like we do, so they smile to show friendship. And to show aggression, they kind of just end up slapping their hands into the ground like they're throwing a really big fit. You see this elephant coming up here on that right side. It's a very, very large elephant. It's the only one I see around here, so it's most likely a male. When a male elephant reaches maturity, anywhere from 9 to 13 years old, he's going to leave the herd he grew up in. Either go off by himself, or he might join a bachelor group. He's going to stay like that until the herd comes through to invite him in. That does look like our typical road was washed out, so we are just going to have to continue on this path here. And this really isn't my favorite path to go on, but I guess we don't really have a choice. It's my favorite path because of this very old bridge. I didn't really have any trouble going across this bridge like a month ago, so I'm just going to assume that it's fine to go across today. So Hakuna Matata, right? No worries. It does look like they added some more duct tape, so that's great. Oh, no, lean to the right, lean to the right. Keep leaning, keep leaning, keep leaning, keep leaning. Keep leaning up. Stay still, we're gonna have an hour. Yeah, geez, that's almost perfect. Okay, did I lose anybody? Raise your hand. It does look like we are starting to make our way through a red clay pit. Elephants will eat red clay for all of the minerals and nutrients, and that is what acts like a multivitamin that we take. And there are footprints and test marks around here, so hopefully we are going to be heading towards a herd. Continue on here just quite yet. Elephants are migratory animals, never really stay in one spot for long. They constantly walk around looking for more food to eat. And since those male elephants are more solitary, whenever you find a whole large herd, it's going to be all females, but they're young. So these herds are led by a matriarch. It is usually the oldest, most wise female that is in charge. almost turn out that elephants are terrified of bees. They don't really like the sounds that the bees make. So a lot of farmers are starting to build fences out of beehives. So if these elephants get too close to the crops, they will trip a wire, which will aggravate those bees, and in turn scares away the elephants. That's a nicer way of keeping them out of the farms, because the old way was just to poach them. But almost 90 elephants a day are poached for just their tusks, which are made of ivory, which is very sad. Now, if such a high number continues, these elephants do have the possibility of going extinct in around 20 years. That's why it's so important to try and stop the trade of ivory out there in the world, especially in the black market, since these elephants are the only source of it. Coming up on the left side, there's going to be greater flamingos. They are the tallest species, about 5 feet tall. They're also the lightest colored pink. Baby flamingos are gray, so they get that pink coloration from all of the brine shrimp that they eat, which is full of beta-carotene. So it takes them roughly a year to turn that color. They are filter feeders, so you might be able to see a couple of them with their heads upside down in the water. They're just filtering the water through their beak, eating up all those small crustaceans. So they sometimes do a little dance inside the water, taking up the dirt. But a whole group of flamingos like that is going to be called a flamboyance. Here on the left side of the truck, laying down, there's going to be a couple of buntbok, very dark brown animals. When a baby buntbok is born, it's able to stand within 5 minutes. It's also able to walk within 15 minutes, but buntbok are physically incapable of jumping. They are extinct out in the wild. Only place you're going to see them are on reserves like this. They were actually near a total extinction back in the 1920s. There's less than 20 buntbok left in the world. But local farmers took it upon themselves to try and help and save this species. And their population is still back on a rise now, which is great, but the only place you're going to see them are on reserves, since they are better protected on there. They're also still hunted for their iridescent fur. So in the sunlight, you can see a nice little purple shimmer on their fur, which is very pretty. There's also a very large mud pit out here. It's a pretty good sign that some rhinos might be around. Rhinos like to roll around in mud, and that ends up acting like a natural sunscreen, protecting their skin from all of the harmful rays of the sun. Elephants will do the same thing, but they just throw the dirt and the mud on their back with their trunk instead of rolling around in it. So hopefully there's going to be a couple of rhinos somewhere out here on this side of the savannah. I don't see anything hiding up in all of the shadows around here. So we're going to move on up. Look like we have made our way towards this Kobe Rock Formation, so we will start making our way around here, see if anything else is hiding or living on this, or around these rocks. Just looks like these trucks are going pretty slow around here, so we'll be doing the same. Around pretty slowly, or pulley as they say in Swahili, very slowly.
Oh, look at the lion way back there. There he comes. Here on the other side now.
Looks like there is a lioness laying there on that left side. There's 2 lionesses over there. The lions are inactive for about 20 hours a day. They're usually more active at nighttime. That is when the females will go out and hunt for the food, and the male stays back protecting all the cubs in their territory. But most lions will eat up to about 50 pounds of food a day, and they have the ability to leap around 20 feet to catch their prey. That is usually when they will start roaring us after they catch their prey, sometimes around dusk, but those roars can be heard up to about 5 miles. Lions have really good eyesight too. Their eyesight's about the same as ours during the daytime, but at night their eyesight's about 6 times better. So there's a couple of those rhinos coming up. ahead. They're going to end up on the right side of the truck. It does look like those are some white rhinos. Fully grown, they're about 5,000 pounds. They are much larger than that black rhino we saw earlier. The majority of rhinos are gray. The main difference between them are going to be their mouths. The black rhino has a very narrow pointed mouth, when the white rhino up here has a very wide rectangular mouth. The Afrikaans name for the white rhino is white, which means wide, but that name got lost in translation when it went over to the Western world. But all rhinos do have terrible eyesight. They can only see about 10 feet in front of them, but they are able to charge at about 35 miles an hour. Since those horns are made of keratin, they will continuously grow. They grow about 3 to 6 inches a year. That's going to be one of the newer areas out here. Some people will donate their unused land to help with the conservation efforts we have, so we never really know exactly what animals might be living out on these new parks, but let's take a good look at for some once we finish crossing through these gates. I see a couple of them up ahead. Coming up on the left side of the truck, looks like those are scimitar horned oryx. They get that name from the shape of their horns, kind of like a scimitar sword. They are very, very good at reserving water. The oryx can go up to 9 months without drinking any, and their bodies will not start sweating until their internal temperature reaches about 115 degrees. Let's come up on the right side of the truck. Looks like there is a yellow-billed stork over there. They have a wingspan about 5 feet, and they are carnivorous birds. They eat a lot of fish, frogs, snakes, and lizards in and around the water. So to catch their food, they will open up their beaks, place it in the water or in the grasses, and they wait for one of those prey animals to swim or walk on through. If you look really closely at the yellow-billed stork's back, you can see that has a pink hue to it. They will do the same thing a pigback pelicans do during mating season to get a pigback. I think that is just about all this area does have in store for us. We're going to go ahead and start making our way back to the edge of the village, where I will be dropping you guys off that over at the Warden's Post. We do a lot of conservation out here. One easy way you can help at home is by recycling. You can always recycle those papers and plastics, but you can also recycle your old electronics like your old cell phones. There is a mineral found inside them called coltan that is mined in gorilla and elephant habitats. So the more electronics we are able to recycle, the less habitat loss there's going to be out there for those animals. One easy way you can help today at the park is by donating to the Disney Conservation Fund. All proceeds that go to the funds go directly to the animal programs that helps with. Well, those programs will be with the elephants in Africa with those beehive fences. You can make a donation at any of the food or merchandise that we can care of the park. And if you have any questions about that, you can ask any of those cast members. This is a pretty cool button just for making a donation. Now, if you guys want some more up-close animal encounters, go on over to Gorilla Falls, which is right next door. You can find some naked bull rats, meerkats, underwater hippos, and a gorilla sanctuary over there, and that just names a couple of the animals you might see. That's going to be to the top of the hill to the right once you guys exit off the truck. But don't be afraid to come back and join us for another safari sometime. No two safaris are ever the same, and the animals out there do make sure of that. I don't think I'll be saying goodbye because goodbyes are kind of sad. Instead, I'm going to go ahead and say Quagrini, which means go well. So Quagrini, everybody, thanks for joining me out there. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day here at Disney's Animal Kingdom or wherever your job is maybe taken.